Some students from Bernadine Sits. It's your show.
Here, guys.
Hey, it's on you. We'll start.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice.
Right, thank you.
Okay, we'll say please take a moment for silent reflection. Okay, item C, meetings and note. There'll be a board faculty meeting at Plymouth Elementary School on Wednesday, December 10th at 7 a.m. 4 or more board members may be in attendance. Board faculty meeting at Jenny Barker Elementary School, Friday, December 12th at 7:50 a.m. 4 or more board members may be in attendance as well. Capstone project for U.S. government, a local action plan student presentations, Central Cup Coffee, Friday, December 12th at 8:30 a.m. 4 or more board members may be in attendance as well. And final, a Board of Education Christmas party, Thursday, December 18th at Casa Mariachi's at 6 p.m. Okay, item D, approval of agenda with the following amendments. D1, additional certified and classified personnel actions for consideration, item F3. And D2, additional meeting of note, item C.
President, I move to approve the meeting agenda as amended.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There is none. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item E, delegations and public comments. I don't believe we have any, or do we?
There's two up there.
I'm sorry. Not the pink slip. You changed the slip. All right, well, let's go. Number one, we'll do Riley Smith. Right, I'll just right now remind you, you have 5 minutes, okay? It's your time. We're not allowed to answer any questions, but if there's clarifying stuff, we'll try to get you an answer, okay? All right, thank you. Begin.
Hello, everyone. My name is Riley, and I'm here to formally invite you to our Government Night School Capstone Project on December 12th at the Central Cup. My classmate and I have been working on this project, Problems of Practice, where we identify real challenges and opportunities in Garden City. During the event, we will be presenting our action plans and project ideas, which were developed in collaboration with the City of Garden City. Our goal is to share practical solutions that we can make meaning difference in our community. Hope you will join us, learn about our project, and provide your support and feedback on becoming more engaged in our communities.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks for the invite. Okay, next up is Russ Tidwell. Thank you so much.
Last time I was here, Robin, at the end of the meeting, said she wanted people to sometimes come in and say good things. So I wanted to take a second and say thanks to the board and to the administration at Cage and at, of course, Good. We rebooted the middle school debate and forensics program this fall. I was able to do that because I'm not coaching debate anymore. And so I just took both of those programs. We just I'll finish up the last meeting with the Horace Goods kids tomorrow. We're done. We finally got to get up and going with meetings like the second week of October. We did our last tournament last week, second of 2 tournaments. This year, we only had the 2 middle schools in Garden City competing, but I already have commitments from a couple of other area schools to do it again next fall. So I think it's going to grow a little bit. We had 23 kids between the 2 buildings, which felt pretty good for a boot up in the middle of October and with just sort of word of mouth and email. Out of that, 15 kids competed in one or both of the tournaments. And kids were, even today when I finished at KH, I still had kids saying, is there any way you can come back and do this again all of spring? And I just said no. But they're very excited. We had a really good time. It was really good for me. The other part of it that was really great was that we had a couple of our graduates from last year who are competing at the community college this year in debate and forensics. And I just had, one of them was a KH student, one of them was a Horace Good student. And I brought them in with me and they sort of served as assistant coaches. And I really suspect that we're going to pick up a couple of educators out of that deal. So I just wanted to say thanks, and there are good things happening. So,
Thank you, Russ. Okay, item E1, recognition of outgoing board members. Josh Simon, Superintendent.
So for 3 of our board members, tonight is their last official board meeting. And so just as a token of our appreciation, first, Andy Farmeyer, for your service. Come on up, Andy. September of 2022 to January of 2026. Thank you for your service. Bring me a picture, all of them together. Okay. And then Miss Jackie Jiggett, for her service, January of 2022 to January of 2026. And the last one is John Weesey, January 2022 to January of 2026. You guys want to come up and we'll do a real quick picture? I just want to thank you all for your leadership and for your time on the board. I know that oftentimes it's a lot of work for the amount of pay that you get, which is 0. And so I appreciate you taking the time and being willing to give back to your community. So much appreciated. Try to get it, Brent. You guys move a little bit to our side. Yeah. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Thanks, guys. Absolutely, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to item E2, recognition of Crystal Apple teacher finalists and winners. Drew Tum.
So first off, I'd like to thank the outgoing board members. I definitely appreciate everything that you guys have done for us and specifically me. And thank you for the time, energy, and effort that you guys have put into this. It's a ton to take on. It's a big responsibility for our community and we couldn't have 3 better ones. So thank you guys for doing that. I get the fun announcement of the night. I get to introduce our Crystal Apple finalists and award winners. So tonight, we're proud to recognize all of the Crystal Apple nominees that we had for USD 457. The ones I'm going to introduce, you guys are obviously outstanding educators. You model commitment to our district, to our communities, and especially to our kids. You're the heart that you pour into these students every single day. It could not be overstated how much you give to our school district, but more importantly to our kids and to the kids that you guys service. I'm gonna introduce you guys. I'm gonna have you guys come up because I know Danica likes to come in front of a lot of people. So first, the finalists that we had for USD 457. First, Miss Danica Kitch. And then Miss Laura Walsh. And then our two Crystal Apple winners for the school district, Miss Megan Ford from Jenny Barker. Matt Delacruz from Alta Brown. So from the Board of Education, from the school district, I'm fortunate enough that I get to call all of you guys friends. I know all of you on a personal level, which makes this even more special. When we got the finalists, when we got the list of the finalists, we sat down as a leadership team because we knew a little bit ahead of time who the finalists were going to be. And I'll be honest with you, it was great to see the names that were on the list. There are not 5 more deserving people in our district up for this award than the 5 that are in front of you guys tonight. I can't express how proud I am of each and every one of you, how much I appreciate being able to call all of you friends, even if you guys get me in trouble sometimes. But I appreciate all of you and all that you've done. Megan and Matt, you guys, congratulations, especially on winning the award. We couldn't have 2 better people have won this award. We're appreciative of all of you. You guys are great teachers, great individuals, but mostly, more than anything, great humans. So thank you guys. If you would, give them a round of applause. We're gonna get a picture with the whole thing. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
Thank you.
You're good.
Bring it in, girls, bring it in.
You're on the end.
We promise.
Hold on. This picture isn't gonna be like this. You two have to go over there. All right, Jackie, you gotta go over there. It's too awesome.
Job, Drew.
There we go.
I'm gonna have to move over. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you. Kid.
Thank you.
Ellie?
Thank you. Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I suppose I can give you one too, didn't
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm sure. Special.
Okay, we'll move on to item E3, building presentation from Principal Brad Hill from Bernadine Sense Intermediate, sir.
Got it.
All right, thank you for being here, hearing all the wonderful things that are going on at Bernadine Sits. We'll start off introductions. Brad Hill, principal. Thank you for the board members that are going off. My 5th year as administrator. So you guys have always supported me, supported the building, so I appreciate all that you guys do.
I'm Ozzy. I'm Paul Jemsley. I'm Aaliyah. I'm Ingrid.
There we go. There's all our Stuco members. We have a band concert tonight, so there's a few people that couldn't make it. So we have 6 that are going to talk about different programs, different things that are going on at Bernadine Sits.
Mr. Hill made a bet with all students about state testing. Any student that scored a 3 or 4 on any of the tests would be put into a drawing to pie Mr. Hill on the face. We improved in all subject areas. 5th grade science had a 12.5% increase in students scoring a 3 or 4. 5th grade math and 6th grade math had a 10% increase in students scoring a 3 or 4. And 5th grade ELA had a 10.4% increase in students scoring a 3 or 4. And 6th grade ELA had a 3% increase in students scoring a 3 or 4. Stuco helps robotics run their concession stand at their home competition every year. When we run the concession stand, we'll handle money and serve food to the customers. It's always a good time.
Stuco student help with the Thanksgiving lunch. Every year we help clean up tables and trash. We also get to greet parents at the door.
We have donuts for our first responders, and we get donuts and juice for them, and they drive through our driveway as we serve it to them. Some even stop to hang out with us for a while. We really enjoy this, and it lets us support our first responders. This year, Mayor Roy Sesna came to the school to visit with Stuco. He talked to us about leadership, how the city council meeting is run, and different things that are happening around Garden City. We are planning on taking a field trip to the courthouse next semester to see everything and learn more about leadership. Every year we have each class decorate their front doors for winter holiday. Each homeroom chooses a theme and gets to decorate their home door. We have guests come in and judge the doors. Last year, Mr. Gammon and some staff members from ESC came and voted. This year, we had the Garden City High School Stuco members come judge. The winning class gets a hot cocoa party before winter break. We also have trees up in the commons area that each team gets to decorate for the holidays. We also participate in the Christmas parade every year. Last year, our theme was wrapped up in Christmas, and we had a giant present with tons of smaller ones around it. This year, our theme was Santa and his reindeer and elves. We had lights and inflatables on the trailer, and we all passed out candy. Capturing kids' hearts at BSIC focuses on building strong relationships and a positive school culture. Teachers greet students at the door each day, creating a welcoming start and reinforcing that every student is seen and valued. Classrooms use a social contract developed collectively with students to establish shared expectations for. Classes use good things, giving students space to share positivities and build connections with peers and teachers. Together, these practices foster trust, improvement, engagement, and create a supportive, encouraging atmosphere for both staff and students across the building. Students from 0 to 6th grade during the 9-week period are invited to participate in the quarterly celebrations, featuring fun activities, games, and snacks as a reward for their positive choices and behavior. Stuco does multiple fundraisers to raise money to be able to go on trips as a group and to help the kids' school. One of them is Full Store. We have items including mini poppets, fidgets, mechanical pencils, squishies, hairbrushes, and giant poppets. They range in prices from 25 cents to $5. We are open once a week on Tuesday mornings. Last year, Stuco group started 2 new fundraisers. Teachers Drink Card. We sell flavored water, coffee, tea, and hot chocolate to staff on Thursday mornings. This was a huge hit last year with the staff and something they look forward to once a week. Healthy Snack Cart. Healthy Snack Stand. We sell healthy snacks after school once a week on Thursdays. This gives students something to look forward to towards the end of the week. We plan on starting these back up available in 2020. We have a feeling that they will be a big hit again. Here are clubs and activities at BSIC. Bulldog Brew, fundraiser for PTO.
Thank you, Jacob.
robotics. After school program. Band, choir, and orchestra.
Again, for taking time to hear about what is happening at PSIC. Questions.
Good. Can we get a picture?
Wait, is there any questions we have?
Yeah. Just did a great job with that.
Thank you for the presentation.
Activities.
What's the grades in your Stuco? What grades are you guys in? Fifth and sixth grade? Okay. Hey, when you come through, shake our hands. There's pins right here. If you want one, please take one, okay? Good job.
Thank you for coming. A lot of things.
Thank you.
Great job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good.
Great job.
Thank you so much.
Great job.
Good job.
Yeah. We'll do a photo shop.
Yeah, we'll do a photo.
Good job.
Just circle back around.
Thank you.
Make sure.
Good job, buddy. Good job, buddy.
Thank you. It's a pin.
Stand up here and sign. Make sure Mr. Cohen gets a look.
Wherever to see you.
Just kids. Good job.
Scoot over a little bit. There you
All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. One more. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Good job, guys.
go.
Okay, move on to item F is, which is the consent agenda.
President, I move to approve all consent agenda items as amended.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? There's none. All in favor, raise your hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay, item G, board reports. G1, Kansas CanStar recognition for 2025 in the area of kindergarten readiness. Ryan Cott, principal at Georgia Matthews.
And thank you, board members that are going out. I appreciate everything you guys have done the past 3 years. I know it hasn't been easy, some of the stuff that you've worked, but thank you. I'm here to present on the Kindergarten Readiness STAR program. The Kansas Can STAR Recognition Program for kindergarten readiness recognizes communities that offer quality, inclusive opportunities to young children and their families so that each student enters kindergarten at age 5, social, emotionally, and academically prepared for success. The application process begins in January. The application closes again in May. And then at the state level, they review everything. I'm one of the ones that was tasked to work on the district application with a team that I have later on in the slides. We were awarded for the 24-25 year, the STAR, the Bronze Star. As you can see, we're one of 26 districts, so it's a fairly new program, but the district has come a long ways in working on early childhood learning with Garfield in kindergarten. Some of our program strengths through the application came up as community collaboration. Garfield And a lot of this primarily stems in the pre-K with Garfield, working with program parents as teachers, working to help educate parents and work with the preschool building on building a strong academic program with developmentally appropriate practices. They work with Russell Childhood Development Center and other agencies to put on trainings, not only for their staff, parents, and other preschool programs. Another one with trainings is the district office has done a good job of supporting some of those trainings like this past year, which will go towards this year's application, is working with the kindergarten teachers and understanding of what ASQ, the Ages and Stages program, does for kindergarten readiness, also preschool. They also put on that dyslexia training that works pre-K through 12 for the community members and teachers that kind of align with letters and some of those educational practices that are geared to help reading achievement. Another one of the strengths is the district has an ASQ day, which we did early in September, where all kindergartens are out. The teachers set up time for parents to come in and take the two quizzes that all kindergartners need to take. One is academic, one is social emotional, kind of looking at developmental needs for kindergarten. Some of those screenings can be used to help design purposeful play, which is a program that kindergarten and preschool use to where they're taking academic standards and tying it into play. So whether it's how to play together or working through counting or different activities that kind of are developmentally appropriate for those students. That day we ended up getting, this year it was 89.9% of our pre-K kindergarten students and families to participate in completing both assessments and a conference with the teacher. One of the difficult things is making sure the language barrier, getting the understanding of why it's important to come talk and take those tests with parents and go through the results. Like when in my building, some of the problems we faced with the language is getting parents to understand exactly what it is, trying to use interpreters or using software to try to explain exactly what it does. At times has been difficult, like when we've had Haitian Creole, which we don't have a physical interpreter, which kind of makes things tough trying to get an understanding. That area too with ASQ, we've grown. In 23-24, only 71% of our parents completed both tests and everything they needed to meet the state standards of what participation looks like. This past year, we did go down a little bit. Some of that could stem from some of the changes with students moving from building to building. Some of the understanding with some of our new kindergarten teachers. We went from 89 to 87. We're still meeting what the state threshold of 85% is looking at. Our goal is actually 95%. Our numbers would be probably a lot higher, but there were some students where parents only took one and not the other. And some of that is going back towards teacher understanding what they need to go through the whole results of the assessment are and kind of what the purpose is, which the district has taken steps this year to try to educate the kindergarten teachers, administrators, and preschool teachers the importance of what the results are saying. That's an ongoing process as well. Another one that Drew has done a great job is working on trying to get certification or certified teachers both in pre-K and kindergarten classrooms. That's another area where we still can grow because one of the requirements is 100%. I think we were 3 or 4 teachers last year short of that. But I know they've done a whole lot of trying to get certified teachers in those positions. The other one that the district is working really towards is standard alignment. They've taken a great step in having preschool use Haggerty, the phonics instruction program, tying more academic pieces into that. And I know in my building, we're seeing the results of that. Our kids are coming in higher with letter recognition, sound recognition for the ones that are going to Garfield. So that's going to continue to grow, especially with looking at a new curriculum as we're aligning those things that will help those pieces with our program. One of the areas on the application piece that they also look at is nutrition. It's an area that we're not going to be able to grow because of the dynamics of our district. Some of the things they look at is preschool kids eating with other grades. Where we're at is we're just a preschool building, so there's not that ability to have lunch with other grades. Another one is they look at kind of a home style type lunch. With our nutrition program, we're not able to do that. There's some ways we can, but it doesn't meet the needs of looking like a home lunch where there's a big bowl and people are serving kind of that. But that's something that we know, and we know we're not going to grow with unless there's major changes. But I mean, it's just kind of the dynamics of what we are. So I mean, there's some ways that I think for this next year and the following year as we move on, that we will have that ability to grow from bronze to silver with those districts. There's a few points we can pick up with that. Another area is looking at transitions, which we've already started talking about kind of administratively of how we can tie or improve transition from preschool to kindergarten. And kind of all the transition pieces we're looking, but primarily for the readiness part is how we can partner up with Garfield to those kids that are coming to my building, to other elementary buildings, getting parents ready for that transition. And that's something I know they've, like talking with Andrea, took steps last year of trying to improve, of getting us as administrators into Garfield to look at the kids that are coming to our buildings, and there's some other things we can work on, maybe getting parents visiting our buildings. Some of the things that I think the district has done in the past that will help that transition, moving from Garfield to the K-4 buildings. Like I said, the team that I worked with from Garfield was Sarah Gear, Melanie Garrison, and Andrea Baker, and Madison Thompson, and then Becky Alexander, when she was in the kindergarten role, helped quite a bit with the application and completed. So it's a pretty big award. It's a fairly new one, and the district should be pretty proud of what they've done to achieve the recognition. You guys have any questions?
One thing I would say, this is the first year that this last year was the first year that we were actually able to actually complete the rubric to even participate, because for that, there's a set of questions that we had to answer before we could even go on. And we weren't able to get through the initial process because of some of the things that we did. So it really opened our eyes and helped us make some significant changes at the kindergarten level. One of the things was, in the past, in a couple of our special ed programs, we had mandatory two-year kindergarten programs. That's a big no-no at the state. That's not to say that we can't retain kindergartners, but we can't make it mandatory. If you're in this program, you have to be in here for 2 years. And so really kind of start to look at things a little on an individual level. And so I think it really opened up our eyes and helped. It began a lot of the discussions. We brought the new behavior plan that we kind of created a couple years ago. That was kind of a byproduct of this too, because a lot of the things we had in there was pretty punitive for our kindergartners. And so there was a lot of work, a lot of other things that have been impacted because of the work that Brian did and the things that we identified through trying to participate and not being able to.
You might not have an answer for this, but I'm sure it's not an issue just at this level. It's through the entire district. Are there any programs through the state, either government, education, locally, to help like maybe grow our own interpreters?
Interpreters.
Interpreters, like, you know,
I don't know of anything.
So one of the biggest hangups that we have with interpreters is, they have to have a high school diploma, at least a high school diploma. And oftentimes when folks are coming from other countries, it's very hard to obtain their actual high school diploma, especially if they're coming from places like Haiti. Sometimes it can be very difficult, to get that sent from the school in Haiti to the United States in order for us to hire them. We've had, and I would have to check tomorrow, we do have an offer if he hasn't accepted yet. Last week we talked to a potential Haiti candidate and we've got an offer out. The problem that we run into is with the 32 different languages, we obviously can't go and afford to hire a specific language that we may only have 3 kids.
right.
But with Haitian Creole, it's been a little bit challenging just because of some federal stuff that has happened. We had a couple move away. But the one we have now, hopefully he accepts. If he hasn't accepted today, he would be a very good candidate because he is local.
Even just do we have access to the interpreters like that they use at the county for court and those type of things? Like, could we access them as well?
Yeah, I'd have to check, yeah. That's a good question. Most of the time they ask us for interpreters, so, yeah.
I mean, I know the process they go through. One of my customers is an interpreter for the court system. And I know he had to go through a pretty rigorous testing to make sure that he could do it properly. But
Yeah.
if we had,
That's the same way.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what their testing is. Like, we have a lot of people that can speak Spanish that don't qualify to be interpreters. Yep, that's it. I'll dig into it.
That is helpful, especially having someone in the district, especially, you know, because they don't understand the educational side. So it's not fully getting translated correctly. And I know when we've had some of the ones in district, that's made a major difference. Especially like with an example with another kindergarten buyer in the building. Before we had the one interpreter leave, she was able to translate and actually get a parent in and understand why we were doing it, instead of them looking at as, are they doing something wrong? And it makes a big difference.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, these communities and our internal communities inside our communities are oftentimes pretty tight. So that is a big impact on that group, just being able to have somebody that they know inside their own community, being able to do that interpreting.
Silver the highest level then.
Gold is the highest level, but right now, looking at some of the qualifications, which they were gonna revamp it for this next year. Gold is extremely difficult, the way funding is, the way, just especially larger district structures are. From my background, it's really hard to throw pre-K into an elementary building and be able to function with size unless you have a massive budget to do so.
Appreciate all your work. I know it takes a lot of time to get things together and all that stuff.
Yeah, and like I said, it was really useful, but I mean, I kind of threw a lot together with the application, but using the ladies from Garfield and just their knowledge, putting everything together was a massive help.
Question, maybe not for you, Brian, but the new curriculum that we're looking at, does any of that cover pre-K, or is it?
So most of those curriculums, they don't have some of them do, but a lot of them don't have a pre-K component. So you look at, because what you see with pre-K is, we're just adopting ELA right now, is what we're looking at, and most of your pre-K curriculums are integrated curriculum, so it's gonna teach math, social studies, and science, and ELA all in one. And so we'll look at probably a totally different curriculum for pre-K, but it's on the same adoption cycle as our ELA curriculum, so they'll be able for adoption. So we'll have something that'll come to the board when we get to that point. And Heather, do we have
Yeah, the Early Childhood Center has recommended one.
Okay.
It's going to curriculum council tomorrow. So it should come to the board in January.
All right, Brian, good job. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item G2, Garden City High School dual credit and CTE offerings. Principal Ryan Ming and Whitney Lenenberger from Garden City High School.
About Ryan May, but
Hey.
neither am I, just to clarify. At a previous board meeting, we briefly shared a lot about some of the opportunities that we provide for students for post-secondary success. And so tonight we have Whitney Lenenberger, who's the lead associate principal at Garden City High School, to share more about CTE and dual credit offerings for you guys.
Okay, I'm gonna ask, I don't even know your name, but I'm Whitney and I'd love for you to click those buttons over there because, I'll try, but goodness knows what will happen. And I had to be a little extra and use Canva, so Mr. Narby was like, you might have to scroll instead of click. So you guys are in for a real show here. What do I do with this thing? Click it, you think? Click down? Oh, look at it, it works. My gosh. Okay, so I'm Whitney Lenenberger. Mr. Ming had a medical appointment today in Wichita, so he's on the road back. I know he wished he could be here, and I want to be fully transparent with you guys. I am a teeny tiny piece in a 1,000 piece puzzle of people that make this machine work. Just this year, myself and Mrs. Ming are now the site coordinators for the dual credit stuff with the JUCO. So I have learned what I feel like is a 8-inch 3-ring binder full of stuff that I never even knew. And I still feel like I've just kind of fallen over the edge. So I have a ton to learn. Mrs. Ming has been awesome in helping us. But luckily for me, there is a beautiful spreadsheet clear back to 2020, tracking all of our dual credit data. So I just looked at that spreadsheet and I only pulled the fall data because it would have taken me like 27,000 hours to pull all of it. So this year in the fall at GCHS, we have kids enrolled in 1,343 college credit hours in total. So some kids might be taking 3 hours, some kids might be taking 12. It just kind of depends by student, but that's the total number. We have 16 classes offered concurrently on our campus. So they're coming and our teachers are teaching them versus taking something online, which is what most students do. There are 58 total courses taken. And then we also have, how do we make this work? Minus those 16 classes where kids go to learn college algebra from Mr. Bijou and stuff like that. We have 1.5 Edgenuity or online labs. So we have some kids taking Edgenuity, but then we have some kids taking those dual credit classes. So we've actually been able to take that half time. It's just one person who's there in the morning, and every kid in that room is just taking Garden City Community College classes. Now we're gonna see if I click the wrong way or the right way. I'm not gonna read all of these to you, but I thought it was kind of powerful just to see the broad range of things that our students are taking. So you've got English 1, college comp, college algebra, kind of your basic stuff. And then we've got kids that are in welding, that are in accounting, early childhood, microeconomics. My student aid's in microeconomics. I'm learning some microeconomics. It's serious stuff. But that's just kind of an overview of the different classes that our kids are taking. Little chart here just shows you kind of what enrollment has looked like since the fall of 2020. There was a little dip in the fall of 2023, and I picked Mr. Ming's brain, and he said, well, there was a lot of COVID money that was helping us to pay, kind of fund that stuff, and that went away that year. And we also had an on-campus teacher that came over from the JUCO that we lost that class that year, so that kind of dinged the enrollment. But as you can see, we're almost back up to fall of 2022 when we were the highest we've been, so. So talking about enrollment, when we look forward to spring of 2026, we have 233 students enrolled. Again, that might mean a student taking 1 class, that might mean a student taking 4. Right now, when we talk to students about enrolling, we pretty much limit it to our juniors and seniors and our gifted sophomores. So if you look at those numbers, I just estimated how many gifted sophomores there were, so this isn't 100% accurate. But when you do 233, and you take the whole of 11th and 12th graders with 10 or 15 gifted 10th graders, that's about 26% of those kids. So basically 1 in 4 is taking some kind of dual credit class, which I think is pretty awesome. Of course, with all of this, we have to talk about how do we pay for it, because of obviously college isn't free. CTE courses are free through the college. They're funded through lovely Carl Perkins. They also have Buster Boosts, so if kids qualify for free and reduced lunches, they don't have to pay tuition and fees at the JUCO. And then we do get a really nice scholarship bucket that we get to distribute. So, you guys have any questions about that? Maybe, maybe not. There we go. The other thing that I thought was kind of powerful was you can see the total number of credit hours earned. And in total, we're almost at 8,000 credit hours since the 2020. And that's only counting fall semesters again. So you could almost, well, definitely double it. And then we also have kids that do this in the summer. So it's kind of a bird's eye view of dual credit stuff. As we look forward, I think we have a really, really strong partnership with Garden City Community College. I feel like we have really good open communication, and if they have a crazy idea or we have a crazy idea, we work really hard to make that work. We're always trying to streamline the process. If Mrs. Ming was here, she could tell you about the piles of enrollment forms that she's taken over there this fall for spring enrollment and getting all those signatures and doing all that stuff. Some of you guys have had kids that do that and you get to fill all that stuff out. So we're just continuing to streamline that process, and then also thinking about what can we do in our master schedule to make this stuff more attainable for our students. But really we want things that we do to have staying power over time. So questions about dual credit, anybody? Okay, now career ready, we're thinking more about CTE. Right now we have 20 CTE pathways offered at our high school. I totaled up, I have to tell you my logic here because I don't know if you guys know anything about Skyward, but it's a black hole and you could go for days. So in the fall, I pulled every roster for every CTE course. And if I totaled up all those kids, that would be 1,436 students. Now, again, some students might be enrolled in 3 classes. Some students might only be enrolled in 1. But we've got 1,436 enrollments in the fall of 2025 in different CTE courses. That's across 58 total classes, which
You know what that number was last year?
I do not. I probably, if someone was really smart, could figure that out. They just have to go back in there. But these are all the different classes that we have. So what's really cool about CTE, I don't know how familiar you guys are with it, but we have a whole person who is devoted to filling out the paperwork for this, and they map pathways. And so kids take classes at different levels and they move through like introductory, application, technical. They can become completers of pathways. And eventually, if they are that, they can use that sort of, not really certification, but if I'm a completer in a pathway, I can take that sometimes to a college and get some college credit or skip a class in college because I've done what I needed to do. So these are really career-focused courses that let them just explore kind of what they're interested in. So a whole bunch of good stuff and more to come. So what's next here, we have really, Emily Hamlin Deloach has taken CTE by the horns, and it is a big, hairy bull, let me tell you. But she has a vision and a passion that all of us very much appreciate. So she's already written a grant, and we've got some money coming in to really kind of focus on how do we make these courses accessible to all of our students. We know that right now, students that are identified as ESL and not spending a lot of time in the gen ed classroom don't necessarily have the same access as every other kid does. Same thing with some of our students on IEPs. So we are purposefully planning some courses just for those kids that are flagged as CTE. What else? Let's see. Again, master schedule changes, which kind of makes my knees shake a little bit, but we're gonna do it and it's gonna be awesome. And then Emily has a whole spreadsheet of new pathway proposals that she will be looking at for the next school year. You guys are gonna see a lot of that in your curriculum council stuff that comes through. But again, we just want things to be sustainable. So Yes, do you have any questions? These are my shout outs because these are the people who really understand the system and make it happen. And Don Tucker and Phil Terpstra at the college, they're awesome anytime we have a question. So yeah, what can I try to answer?
I should first say, I think the relationship that you guys have built with the college and that has been wonderful. It's pretty fantastic.
I 100% agree. And she said at the beginning, she's not Mr. Ming. That's how like when they were like, do you want to do it? And I said, well, yeah, I want to do it, but I'm real nervous because he understands everything and he has a great relationship. He really set the foundation for that. So we're just trying to keep it rolling. So, yeah.
Yeah, I have a question either, but a statement following Randy's. I think it's great, the relationship and what y'all are doing. And the numbers you showed us tonight and the number of students that are enrolled in these dual credit courses, that says a lot too. So that's something that really looks good.
Well, we appreciate that. We definitely want to make sure that we are giving students what they need. And we have a clientele of kids that are definitely ready to go. And even students that maybe we're not so sure about, like, oh, are they ready for college or not yet? Like, our counselors are very well versed in what's a good one to try. How do we make sure that they're in a lab where they can be successful? We have proctors that have access to all of their stuff so that they can see what's going on, contact parents, all that good stuff. So it is a good way to kind of get your toes wet without jumping off the deep end, so. Yep. Anything else?
Speaking from the gallery, preview of things to come, CTE dual credit, we in leadership have talked a ton about how do we continue to offer more dual credit CTE through the college or through colleges. So our kids continue to have more and more opportunity to go through those CTE pathways at Garden City High School. We talked this morning about CDLs. How do we get our kids, now that kids can get their CDL at 18, I shouldn't call them kids. Now that they can do an 18-year-old program, how do we get their butt in a seat at Garden City High School at 17, getting the coursework done? If you guys know anything about CDLs, the amount of time, the cost has substantially increased over the last couple of years. So how do we, and we've got a bunch of those types of kids at the high school, how do we continue to grow those pathways? And
Yeah.
Ms. Deloach had those things on there. That's how we continue to grow workforce inside Garden City to keep kids in Garden City, limit student debt, do those sorts of things. So they do a great job.
Something else I would say that Emily's really tackling right now is we might offer like an environmental science class, but there is something mapped to a CTE pathway. Forgive me, I don't know the name, that the standards and the competencies are very, very similar. So something that we can talk about on our end is maybe instead of offering environmental science, which is this number, we offer this other course, and then we're getting CTE credit from that. And from a state like funding perspective, that really helps us out too. So those are, again, curriculum council's probably they're gonna be flexing their muscles. You guys are gonna see a lot of courses coming across and you might be thinking, why are we doing all this? Well, a lot of that is to align those things and also just to get the most bang for our buck. Why would we not give kids a CTE credit? And if some of those courses are funded, why would we not be getting the money for that from the state if we could, just by changing a number and a name and tweaking a few standards. So it also opens up great doors for our teachers. Because when you're a CTE teacher, you have access to a whole bunch of funds for things for your classroom that gen ed people don't have access to because they've got those Carl Perkins grants and all that good stuff. So it's good stuff for sure. Anything else?
I think this really illustrates, we talk about student success and it's more than just our state assessment scores. I mean, and I don't want to say that state assessment scores aren't important, but when we talk about a graduation rate of 96% at Garden City High School and the dual credits that we're doing, I mean, these kids are being successful outside of once they leave Garden City High School. And so I think that says a lot of work that's being done not only at Garden City High School, but all the work before they get to Garden City High School too. There's a lot of good things happening.
All right, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, item H, new business. H1, we'll talk about sidewalk repair proposals. It's a first read. Director of Plant Facilities, Brandon Anderson.
So before I get into that, one thing I noticed in Bernadine Sitz's report, if you guys remember, we did Sitz's roof, April 15th and May 15th last year, and it was during testing. But I've asked Mr. Hill, and they mentioned tonight, their test scores actually went up. So we got the benefit of maybe not cramming it into a summer and maybe getting a better bid. Maybe it won't be that experience every time, but I'm gonna propose that we do roofs during every testing time. But I thought that. So I'm here this evening to discuss, actually, it's the follow-up to a project that we did in 22 and 23 that you guys may be aware of, and that packet was actually included in your bid. We did 8 campuses at the time in 22. This year, I've got a proposal to do the other half of our campuses. And what Precision Concrete Cutting does is they come in and they basically have walked, and in your packet, there's a map of those 10 schools or 10 sites. And they go walk them and they look for trip hazards and they look for curb issues, minor curb issues, I would tell you. Some major curb issues we're going to have to take care of. There is one at the high school, and then we've got quite a few at Horsegood that we need to work on. But this proposal is to go into those 10 schools. They would come in the springtime. It can actually happen at any time during the day. They've got a dustless machine that basically they go out, they shroud it, and it's safe for people to be around. It doesn't create dust. Again, the city has done this. The last time we did it in partnership with the city. Our cost was out. There are a few items that I actually took out of this project. For instance, over by VO, the sidewalk that's going to get replaced. They had some areas that they recommended us fixing. Well, if it's going to be replaced in the next 2 to 3 years, we didn't want to do that. So I fixed those areas that we wouldn't want to fix because they're actually going to be replaced with that city project. But so for your review and consideration, and actually there's 2 options. If you go to page 13 of the proposal, and I couldn't print it off, you can click option 1, and option 1 is to do with the ADA standards without the curb repair. And that would be 324 trip hazards that they fix for a cost of $40,428 with a 5% discount through Green Tree Purchasing Program. That's a $2,021.40 discount. So a total cost for that would be $38,406.60. If you could, I couldn't click on option 2 and then print it out. But if you clicked on option 2, that adds the curb work, which is 74 linear feet of curb repair. That cost is $43,462 with a discount through the Green Tree Purchasing Program of $2173.10 for a total cost of $41,288.90. On that same page, it shows you the 10 campuses that we're looking at and the cost on each of those campuses. I think that covers all of my presentation. I'll open up for any questions you might have.
The work that this company did for us before, has it stayed? It hasn't resettled or it hasn't changed?
Ironically, you can walk around and still see some of the numbers from that project and some of the work. I will tell you where there's not trees, yes, it's worked very well. But even from my past history with cities and then also in the school district, if we have trees in along those sidewalks, I mean, it's inevitable that we're going to get some movement. But for the most part, they've lasted very, very good.
You mentioned last time you worked with the city on some of the sidewalks. I know they have a sidewalk program for the residential customers. Do any of these along the roads qualify for some of that?
So I'm not sure if they would have let us apply for that assistance. And I think a lot of times that's actual sidewalk replacement. I did ask, actually was in a meeting with the mayor, but then I actually reached out to city staff Typically, the rule of thumb is the landowner takes care of their sidewalk. I think that's for replacement. This wouldn't actually be a replacement. I can check though.
Brandon, when would you be looking at getting this done if it gets approved?
They come in the spring and do it during the spring.
So I know it's a first read tonight, but would it be helpful to
No rush on. No, we're fine. Any other questions? I'll try to get an answer back on Nathan's question and get it out to you guys.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.
Item H2, Professional Development Council Handbook. Also first read, Director of Elementary and Curriculum, Heather State.
Good evening.
Nope.
I shared a pretty lengthy document with you guys in that board handbook. I think it's pushing 50 pages. So every 5 years, we are tasked with submitting our professional development, for lack of a better term, handbook. They call it a plan, which is a little deceiving. It makes you think that our upcoming professional development, that we're sending that to them. It's not. It's like a handbook of what our policies and procedures are. So we started that process this year because it was due this school year. So last year we got started with that. And what the state does is they send you their template with guidance as to what they want in that section. So the Professional Development Committee and myself worked through that throughout last school year to meet all of the qualifications that they have in each of those sections. It required us to make a lot of pretty significant changes to our PD policies and handbooks. So some of the major ones were we added a rotation of membership, which is something we had kind of been talking about in our professional development meetings anyways, but this was the right time with submitting that plan to the state to get that rotation put back in place. We added administrators to our Professional Development Council as voting members. Our administrators are governed by the same PD policies in that handbook, but they weren't allowed to vote on what was in it or to be part of the voting members of the council. Through this process and talking to KSDE, that was a little abnormal, that they aren't voting members. That was kind of unique to Garden City. So we revised that, made them voting members. We also added chairperson roles. So that's why Laura is here with me tonight. She is our Professional Development Council chairperson. Megan Ford is our vice chairperson. And they elected to go ahead and continue to use the Office of Learning Services Secretary to kind of manage all the paperwork and record keeping. But again, we had to go through that whole process of deciding how do we want to define those roles within that committee. We also had to delegate different responsibilities, which in our district, we were already doing this, but we've documented it in our plan. The teachers, anyone certified in the district has to set goals for themselves, and their professional development should align to those goals. Our policy has always been they review their goals with their principals and their principals approve them. But through our process, we kind of put an extra step in there. If the principal and the teacher can't come to an agreement, there is a procedure for them to come to Professional Development Council and appeal that. So it's just a lot of things like that within that handbook that are now more clearly defined that weren't always part of our old PD handbook. Again, that is the state handbook. It's their template. It does have some additional revisions that need to be done because what I have found is when the state gives us a template, they have different people working on different sections and their formatting does not always match. And that is certainly the case in that handbook right now. So we do have some cleanups we need to make to it, but I believe all of the policy and procedures in there are accurate and correct at this time. Anything you want to add to that whole process?
No, so
this is a new role for some of us on the committee. I think I've served over 10 years on and off. So it's an elected position for the teachers. And we represent what grade level we're teaching at one building.
And I think, Laura's done a good job in this role of already starting to communicate with the teachers and make sure they know. One of the things we talked about is teachers are really good about applying and getting their PD points. But if you implement or if you can show impact, you can get 2 and 3 times of the PD points. So for our letters training, for example, we've invested a lot of time and energy into that. And we really want to see implementation and we want to see impact on students. And she's done a good job of reaching out to staff and encouraging them to document that implementation, document that impact, and be able to multiply their points. And, ultimately, whatever professional development we do, we want that. We want teachers to use it and we want it to impact kids. And so, Laura's really been advocating for teachers to document that process. You have any questions for us? It's some great bedtime reading, I'll tell you.
I don't think so. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, H3, revised Board of Education policy, BJFA, on the purchasing authority. You don't look like Jessica now.
So, Jessica's son got released to play basketball today, so we told her she needed to go watch her son play basketball. So, I got put in charge of this. It is unfortunate that she couldn't be here. She wouldn't tell you anyway, so I'm gonna do it for her. We've gone through this whole process of the audit, of the internal audit. And for the first time, and as long as we can look back, it was the first time that we'd had no material weaknesses within our audit. So for a school district of our size, for the amount of money, for the amount of accounts, for the amount of people, it truly is a testament to Jessica and the entire department over there with Inside Finance that they were able to get through this audit and for the first time in a long time, come through it pretty clean. So we appreciate Jessica. We appreciate the entire finance department for what they've been doing for us. I know they keep Josh, the few hairs that he has left on his head, they're at least keeping those on there. So thank you to Jessica and that group. What I have in front of you today, during our internal audit, there was a recommendation to define the requirements for purchases under $20,000. The revisions presented to the board will suffice their recommendations by defining that department administrators are responsible for obtaining informal quotes and conduct market research. As always, purchases over $20,000 must go out through the Board of Education for the formal bid process as outlined in DJED. So what the immaterial weakness was, we didn't clearly state under $20,000, how do we purchase things? They wanted an outline of how do we purchase things under $20,000 that aren't a part of the bid process, that aren't approved through you guys as a Board of Education. This policy was reviewed by Jennifer Cunningham. Jennifer Cunningham didn't make any changes to what Jessica presented and was happy with the way it was written as policy. So you guys have a couple different options. You guys can approve and we do recommend the changes. You can approve the recommended changes and we would adopt the adjustment to the policy, or you can not approve it and we can not make the changes, or we can go back and reevaluate. So a few different options. We recommend you obviously do it. Any questions on this?
First read, or do you
It's, I mean, if you guys want to take action tonight, that would be fine, but it's not anything that's time pressing.
It'll be on consent if
It'll
you
be on
want.
consent agenda in January. The one thing I would say is, the wording in there has changed a little bit, but really, it doesn't change anything on how we're operating or how we're doing business. Everything that we're doing is gonna be completely the same. It just, they wanted it to be more clearly detailed, I think, in our policy, so that was there, so. It'll look a little different, but it won't change anything as far as how we do business in Garden City in the business office.
Item I, board open discussion. So Robin, you're up.
Well, I was really impressed with the numbers that the kids talked about for those improvements. I don't know if it was directly related to getting the roof redone or not, but, I think that those were numbers for them to be proud of. The Crystal Apple was a really nice ceremony. When you think that there was 180 people nominated, to be in the top 6 is quite a feat. And so we obviously have a lot of amazing teachers if there are 180 people nominated. Was great to hear blows from Russ. I'm glad that he threw out some positive things. The Bronze Star recognition, that to me seems pretty impressive and shows that the pre-K program is doing well and we have a good working relationship with the other people that are doing that type of work as well. I'm sure everyone's about to pull their hair out because it's a week before break and children are probably being a little rambunctious, so prayers for the teachers. That's all I got.
Mark?
Yeah, I'd like to, our outgoing board members, Andy, Jackie, John, thank you for your service. I know it's been a long 4 years for y'all, and I appreciate what you have done. I've learned a lot from the 3 of you through your leadership and the volunteer time that you put into this thing. So for that, I don't know what you can do with your time now, but I'm sure you'll figure that out. The Crystal Apple, it was great. That was the first one I'd ever been to, and it was really good to hear the inspiring stories from those finalists of why they were doing what it really was. To me, it was great to hear that. And to all of them, it's great to have the teachers like them in our school district. And it's always great to have a building presentation. Mr. Hill and the students from Bernadine says it was nice to hear from them. Robert may hit on this, but the Bronze Star, the Ken Star recognition for Mr. Cott, that was good to hear that we are making some really good progress. Great to hear that. And then the dual course credits that we're doing with the relationship, the partnership, the collaboration we have with Garden City Community College. It is really great for our students and our community. So it's always nice to figure out. I'd like to continue to do that. And that relationship's really important. And I think it really will pay for a lot of folks. So.
Nathan?
Again, thanks to the Bernadine Sitz kids for coming over, and they brought up a lot of things that, of course, they're already doing, but I just want to say great job to the academic teams, like the robotics teams and things like that they're doing there. There's a lot of things that are happening behind the scenes. A lot of times we see the sports teams out front, but the other teams are not recognized. And so I know they're hard at work and they've got some competitions going on. So very exciting to see that. And I wanted to do a shout out for them. And even some of the sports teams are engaging in the community in some new ways this year, which is exciting to see that as well. Appreciate all the CTE opportunities to help our students do better and get better. And so that's exciting to see that and provide them a step up as they go forward as well. It's been fun to be at some of the board faculty meetings. We've been able to see good interactions and positive things happening, test scores and things like that coming back, and good questions and good communication as well. And just a thanks to our nutrition staff. They work a lot behind the scenes every day to make sure the kids are fed well and everything's taken care of, from breakfast to lunch to even the snack after school. And so I appreciate them. And want to say thanks to all of our outgoing members as well, and their leadership and their friendship, and what the future might hold for you all. So thanks.
Jackie? Oh, I'm sorry, John, you're up. I saw Jay and I just said.
First of all, I'd just like to thank the community for giving me the opportunity to serve on this board. It's been a privilege, and I want to thank each one of you that I've served with for the time that you guys have put in and the projects we've tackled and some of the hard things that we chose to tackle. Wasn't always popular, wasn't always the easy thing to do, but we decided to do it anyway. And I hope you guys continue to do that on this board, but I want to thank you all for the time and effort that you guys have put in and the opportunity to serve with you. And I'd like to thank the administration as well. You guys put in endless hours for our school district, and you guys make our job as board members a lot easier with all the information that you provide us and get to us and all the information that you kind of sift through and bring to us to make decisions. So I appreciate all you guys' hard work and leadership of the district, and I'm excited for you guys' future. So anyway, with that said, I don't want to just repeat what everyone else said, but I enjoyed having the kids in the room tonight and have always enjoyed that as a board member. So that's been great. So thank you.
Yeah.
I won't repeat everything John said. Would like to thank everybody for helping us along the way, teaching us and learning everything that we did and doing what we did. Not sure what I'm gonna do with my time from April to June, with no negotiations, but I'll probably find something.
I just want to start by thanking our faculty throughout the district at all levels. Being able to, one of my favorite things to do as a board member was to attend board faculty meetings. I was just always continually blown away about the level of pride and dedication that I saw from everyone at every one of those meetings. And it just really, instilled a lot of hope in me to know that we have an entire district full of folks that are dedicated to serving our students and just trying to create the best positive outcome for them and our community as a whole. And so I just thank all of our faculty. I would say we have a tremendous administrative team here. And I'm just very excited for the future that our district has under your leadership, Josh, and the team you've created. I want to thank also my fellow board members. It's always great when you have a group of 7 individuals that all come from different backgrounds and different areas of expertise and different perspectives and are willing to challenge each other's ideas and listen to each other and consider each other's thoughts and opinions on things. And I think it speaks a lot that we didn't always vote on the same way. I think that spoke to this board's ability to trust their gut and vote their own feelings. And I feel like this group of individuals and the 3 board members that were here in my first time on the board also did that. So I really appreciate everybody. Kind of like, as Jackie said, wondering what to do with my time. I'm not sure what I'll do on Saturday mornings without a board packet to read, because that was kind of my, get some coffee and sit down and read a board packet when I wake up on Saturday. So I'll have to find something to fill that time with. Thank you all. I appreciate it. The opportunity to serve with you guys.
I'll kind of repeat some things. It's always bad going last, but I do thank Russ, for his, there isn't a guy that's more committed to debate and forensics than him and everything he's put into it over the years. And I know he also puts that same effort into the district. He really does. He can be hardcore, but I know he's the man when it comes to that. As far as the board members go, I do appreciate your help, and especially you two, because my first term here, I was a fill-in and I was brought in by your vote. So I appreciate that you trusted me enough to bring me on, and I really appreciate everything you guys have helped and done. And I liked it so much I ran again, so I appreciate that and everything you've done. And it's been very, very good and exciting. And I feel like I've made some friendships out of it, so. Crystal Apple, as everybody's talked about, the Crystal Apple winners. I mean, that just speaks of itself. There's I've been every time I've had the chance to go and I love it and to watch these educators stand up for that award. It's a pretty, they should be very proud and honored for what they've accomplished with that. To repeat everything everybody said, I agree with Drew. I think Jessica, she's 100%. She's the real deal and she's good at her job. And I'm very confident in her abilities moving forward with the district and running our finances. And then one other thing, I had the luxury this weekend of participating in the Shop with the Cop deal at Walmart. And I bring that up because USD 457 provided the transportation for the 65 kids to get from the United Way to Walmart. Shane drove the bus. He loved it. He was in it 100%. He was with the kids. We were laughing, having a good time. So it's just another shout out of how the district's involved in the community, and I appreciate it. Josh?
Once again, I just want to thank the three of you that are leaving the board, for your leadership, for all the time and effort that you put into making our district a better place for kids. But I also want to personally thank you for having the given me the opportunity that you have given me along with the other board members. I really appreciate it, and you guys will be missed, and I'm sure that we'll be making phone calls to have you serve on committees for something down the road so that you don't get too bored in your free time. The other thing, just a couple of other things. Congratulations to Drew and Steve. We took the interim name off of their titles today, so they're officially official. So no more interims in USD 457. And it was awesome because Drew had no idea. He was gone Thursday and Friday. So I went and talked to Tamara in his office and said, hey, let's get this done. So I sent him a text after you guys approved the consent agenda, and he had no idea that had even happened. And so I take pride in that. So we have successfully completed 16 of our 18 board faculty meetings for the year. Jenny Barker and Plymel will have those Friday and or Monday. Today's Monday, Friday and Wednesday of this week, and we'll have met with all 18 campuses. So to my knowledge, I think that's probably the first time we've ever done that in the first semester. That was a lot of work on you all, and I appreciate you. Mark, I think you only missed like one or two the whole time. So kudos to Mark for the extra effort there.
Finals at 7.
Yeah, 7 in the morning. Suzette and I are gonna have to have a talk. That's an early morning. The last thing, just so everybody's aware, as we go off to Christmas break, we have staff will still be working on the 22nd and 23rd of December and January 2nd, but we'll be close to the public because there will probably not be a whole lot of people that are actually working. We'll have a lot of folks that'll take vacation. So while there'll still maybe some folks working, we'll be close to the public for those days. So, and I think that's all I have.
Okay, item J, the next board meeting, next regular meeting of the Board of Education will take place on Monday, January 12th, 2026 at 6 p.m. here in the board meeting room at the Educational Support Center.
Oh, you guys are gonna make it easy for me. On the 22nd, you don't have a meeting, and you don't have one right away on the 4th.
No,
We did, they were
I don't
talking
have to-
just for you.
that way, Megan.
The 23rd, so I was trying to get everything done. I had your meeting, that would have been a really fun night.
Yeah.
And then I come back on the 4th, and I would have had a meeting on the 5th.
Again, yeah. Okay, item K, we'll move for adjournment.
Mr. President, I move we adjourn.
One second.
Movement and seconded. All in favor? Meeting is adjourned.
Notes, everything.